Hello, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been a long time.
So let's reintroduce ourselves. It's the Migas.
And welcome back to our show.
Yes, welcome back to the Migas show where we
Yes.
keep it
Real.
real with ya.
Keep it 100.
So, on that note,
Yes.
we clearly have not been around for what it feels like forever.
I know.
But
It was like
I
2
feel like we
weeks.
took a freaking season break, but we
Yeah.
did
A
not. We did not,
mid-season
guys.
break.
It was literally a forced
Yeah.
season break. I mean, not
Yeah.
mid-season.
We're like towards the end.
We're fucking still confused.
Yeah. But we had to
We're
take,
towards the end, yeah.
We
A
had to take
hiatus.
a hiatus.
Forced one.
Yes.
Unintentionally.
Yes.
We did not mean to do it, and we also did not give you guys any warning whatsoever.
But that's how life is.
Right.
Like we didn't know. I did not know any.
No, but we didn't even like. Okay, yeah, we missed an episode, but we
Yeah.
never even said anything. So,
but
we're here.
our loyal listeners.
Yes, you guys have let us know, like, yo, where you at? We're here. We're here. We're sorry. We
Yeah.
apologize, and we will explain. So, buckle up. Get ready, because
For the
it's about to
ride.
get real.
So you could start with your matcha tea.
Oh God, yeah. So I know on stories and on the takeovers, I have been saying how I was sent for a mammogram, and this is through my primary care doctor over at the Veteran Administration Hospital, aka the VA. So if you hear me saying VA, that's what it means. So I show up. So technically, the VA does not have specialty care for women. So then they sit there and they outsource it. And thank God, new laws have came out. I think since like 2022 for women veterans to get the extra care that they need outside of just a GYN. So they sent me to community care. So I was able to see a civilian doctor not too far from my home address, which was very nice because for me to go to any VA facility, it's always a mission. It's a drive. It's not near my house. So I definitely appreciated the convenience of being able to choose a close location. So I show up and the staff is like, oh, do you know why you're here today? And I'm like, oh, for a mammogram. I just thought it was honestly a routine mammogram. I'm like, I'm 35. I guess they're doing it younger these days. I don't know. I was just literally going with the fucking flow. So bad. Don't be like me. Like, know why you're there. Know why doctors are sending you to shit. Just don't do what I did. Be informed. Advocate for yourself. It is so important because, again, these doctors will send you left and right to all these referrals, yada, yada, and you don't even know why. Please be in the know. So I find out, so I got that first mammogram. Then I found out that I have to go back because my breasts are very dense, which through conversation and plenty of my girl groups, I have found that it's actually a common thing. So do not be alarmed if you go for a mammogram for the first time and they inform you that you have dense breasts. Just means you have a lot of tissue. It literally doesn't mean anything. But it may mean that you may have to go for a special mammogram with an ultrasound. So that's exactly what I was sent in a second time for. So they did the mammogram. It was just like different angles. And for me, it wasn't uncomfortable. I hear like for some people, it's uncomfortable because you're literally like putting your freaking boob on a slab and they're just
like squeezing.
Yeah, and it's just like pressure. And I remember the first time I'm seeing the numbers go up, like the weight, because that's what it feels like. You're just dumping your boob on a scale, and I see the fucking thing says 26 pounds, and I was just like, I was like, excuse me, what does this number mean? And she's like, no, that's the pressure. That's like the pressure to flatten out your boob. It literally like a fucking pancake, depending on the size of your titty. I guess the bigger the boob, the less painful it is. I don't know. Y'all chime in if y'all got small tetas, and if you got a mammogram, was it painful? Because mine, again. But I feel like I'm built different. It's like my pain tolerance is just different. Besides childbirth pains, that was different. Yeah. I was not prepared. Anyways, so then went for the ultrasound, that second doctor's visit, got the special mammogram, got sent in for the ultrasound. And you just like, when your gut and your intuition is telling you, when that doctor, that technician is just taking a little too long. And that's exactly what it felt like. So they did find a lump in my breast. Mind you, I've had this lump, I want to say now, like over 8 years. I have to confirm when I got my first ultrasound done. And when I got that ultrasound done, the technician automatically, it was quick. She was like, oh, it's benign, nothing to worry about. So I let it be until 2024. The ultrasound technician is letting me know that she's like, oh, I have to call the doctor in. And I was like, God damn it, here we go. Here we go. The doctor comes in and she's like, yeah, I don't like how this is looking. So I'm just there kind of just taking deep breaths. I'm keeping as calm as I can. Like, I'm just, I guess I felt indifferent at the time. I just didn't know what to feel, to be honest. But when I left there, I literally, like, from my car, from the door of the place to my car, I started crying.
Yeah,
I was just like, I guess it hit me. Yeah. I guess I was still like in shock. Because she was like, oh, this was like, I guess the shocking part. She was like, it's suspicious for cancer. And I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah, when you say the C word,
I'm like, okay, bye. I was just like, I'll figure it out. I just need to get the fuck out of here right now. Yeah. And I cried again. I sat there. I fucking processed it. And I was like, all right, again, like, what are the next steps? So the next step, I mean, they did inform me before I left that the next step was a biopsy. And I was like, okay, so fast forward, I get the biopsy. And there, again, the staff at this location was so nice. So if you ever need a reference for that, please, like, send me a private message. I'll send you the name of the location. They have a couple of different places throughout northern New Jersey. So friendly, like, great staff, from the front desk to the doctors to the nurses to the medical assistants there. Great place. And everybody, like, knew what the fuck they were doing. And that just brings you so much comfort.
Oh, absolutely.
And they actually, like, performed the biopsy right there at that location. And they do a couple other procedures, which is nice because, like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to something like this where you get seen at one place, then you have to go to another place for this. And then it's a whole completely different team of people. Yeah. So it was nice that it was the same team of people that I've been seeing from day one. So technically I've already been there 3 times. So got the biopsy, and honestly, I feel like the worst part, and I posted a little bit about it is just like when you're in limbo. Yeah. Just the waiting. Or you just don't know, just awaiting results. And I feel like any type of results doesn't necessarily mean to be like something going on with your physical body, like a test that you took to pass us to get a certification for
an
something.
Interview, like
anything. Yeah, just like that. Waiting is so daunting, and it's just like that's when your mind can go other places and dark places. But since I've been so firm and strong with my faith, I was just like, I'm just gonna keep praying. I'm gonna keep praying. Family and friends were praying, and that's what honestly made me very emotional when I, like, put it in the group chats, like, hey, this is what's going on. Just send your prayers or whatever. And a lot of my friends were like, Cindy, I'm always praying for you. Aww. And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah. So here I want to publicly thank you guys. I know I thanked you guys individually, but thank you honestly, because the results did come back. So it is a tumor, but a non-cancerous one. Whatever that fucking means, because I haven't even taken the time to go on Google because I was like, I am not doing that to myself. I just refuse to do it because I was just like, I just know the next step is that I do have to see a general surgeon that performs like breast biopsy removals. I think that's which is nice. Another thing too, that they assigned me to a breast navigator. Yes. Never even heard of navigators before in the medical field. So that was nice. And the lady's very informative. I even, like, spoke to her a little bit before here recording. She was like, even if you don't hear from, whatever you do, if you do or do not hear from them, please call me. Please call me, like, by Tuesday or whatever. And I'm like, got you, lady. Thank you. Yeah. Because again, like, when people, like, genuinely care that you're not just another number, check mark or whatever, it just feels really nice and comforting, because I think during times like this is what you need most, especially from medical staff. And if you're going to go under,
Yeah.
Like you just want a little sense of trust. And
Yeah.
even while I was awake while they were doing the biopsy, and it was just like local like anesthesia, nothing crazy. I didn't feel anything, thank God. But the whole time I'm seeing everything,
Yeah.
seeing these crazy needles or whatever. If you ever got a biopsy done or like actually seeing them do it, it's fucking crazy. And she's
Yeah.
like, "Are you gonna hear a clip?" And I was just like, okay, because I was just like hearing the clip, but I was like, I didn't want to flinch because again, I have this fucking crazy ass needle in my boob. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. I feel like I have nothing else to share because it has consumed
Yeah.
the majority of my day. Oh, another thing, so I guess I'll share with back in December again. This has been the year to get my health in fucking order or in check. So at the end of December, I did have to go in for endoscopy, which through again having conversations with others who have gotten endoscopies like in our age group, I'm like, yo, this just should be a routine thing, just like a colonoscopy. Like it should be like the same thing. Like it should be mandatory, but it's not because again, a lot of our health issues, I 100% believe it stems from your gut.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your gut sends messages to your brain,
Brain,
and vice versa or whatever. So I feel like between brain health and gut health, you'll fucking cure yourself if you heal those things. So I was having a little like stomach issue, so I got sent for that. Comes back that I have H. pylori, which is apparently also a very common stomach infection slash bacteria. Apparently, it happens like when you visit countries outside of the U.S., which I did visit one last year, but again, it was so long ago. It was over a year ago. Another thing that's scary about this bacteria, it can literally sit in your body for a while without showing any symptoms.
Yes, it's dormant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was very dormant in mine. I'd had like mild symptoms of gastritis, and that's actually like tied to H. pylori. So I got put on a round of antibiotics at the end of January to see if I can clear it. I didn't. So now I'm actually currently back on stronger antibiotics, but I'm very happy that this round, the side effects are nothing near.
You did not, those were,
the ones that I had the end of January were terrible, terrible, terrible. I never felt that way ever in my life.
Yeah.
Like, and I honestly, like, I couldn't even like finish it all the way. I was supposed to take them for 2 weeks. I took them for a week and a half. So possibly part of the reason why I probably didn't clear it completely. So now I'm back on, and I'm glad that it's been a couple days now. I'm glad it's been working well with my body and not causing any additional side effects, because that's, I feel like, one thing with medication. I'll fix one thing and fuck up something else.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's my health spiel. And the reason I'm sharing this stuff is to advocate for other women, just other people in general, because you're not alone going through this stuff. And it can feel like that so quick because you're like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? You're not the first one to go through it, and you're not going to be the last one to go through it. But sharing your experiences, and again, you don't have to do it like I'm doing it, but sharing it with your close circle, you'll be surprised that other people have experienced the same. Because again, I've mentioned H. pylori, and people are like, oh yeah, I know that one. This happened to me. I did this, but they had different symptoms. Again, everybody's body is so different. So pay attention. If you're feeling a little funky, hit up your primary care doctor. Tell them to get you those referrals.
And then you pay for insurance if you have it. So.
Right. And if you're a veteran or know a veteran that's listening to this, and if they're not being seen by like through the VA healthcare system, please encourage them to do so, because it is a free service to them. And for instance, I've been getting all my care, and I haven't had to pay any even copays. So it's huge and something to take advantage. I'm like, I did my time.
Yeah.
I sacrificed for my country, and now I'm reaping the benefits of that sacrifice. So.
As you should.
Thanks. Yeah, I was also like not encouraged to do so like in the past, but I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why not? Again, those are just things that you just gotta just take that leap of faith and trust the system. Because again, all the hearsay, hearsay, she said, he said, of like bad rep from the VA, but their system has definitely improved, at least here in New Jersey. That's what I'm speaking for. And again, gearing towards women veterans is huge. Because again, when I first was walking into these hospitals, it was mostly males and older males that had served probably like, in World War II and like Vietnam and all that jazz. So it can get a little depressing, like walking into those places. But now I just walk in again with that confidence because I'm like, I'm here advocating for my health.
That's right. Facts on facts.
And I don't care who in here, who's doing what. I just need to know that the staff is doing their job.
Yeah.
And if they're not, then I'm gonna check them because it's not fair that they're doing this to me. And again, I'm advocating not only for myself, but future veterans to come.
Love it.
So I know you have been through it. But I'm glad you honestly were on the mend right before your birthday.
Yes.
Because that would have fucking sucked. It sucked, period. But
so
how did it begin?
How did it start? So my house is like a petri dish because I have 3 kids that leave, like, well, Zoe goes to the babysitter, so she's fine. But Oliver and Alina are in school, and Oliver came home and he was sick first. But the way he was sick, it was just like, he had a little fever, and then he was just kind of like coughing, but then he was just not himself, like very meh. But another mom at the school was telling me, that her daughter had the flu for like over 2 weeks and was home. And I was like,
I've heard that there's like the long flu. Yeah. Because I don't know if you heard like the long COVID. I've heard of that shit. And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? But now I see it. That's also happening. Well, I guess with this new strain of the flu.
So it's the strain B of the flu is what's going on. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. Then Alberto gets sick, and he was sick for a couple of days, and I was like, great. So it was a lot of coughing, a lot of whatever. Then the girls get sick together. I'm like, how and why? Like, why? So Zoe was not kicking a fever for 4 days.
Yikes.
It was not breaking. And it was like 101, 102, like getting high up there. And I was like, great. So I don't really like to give her Tylenol, but I give her the non-dye one. And after the second day, I was like, okay, I know her body is fighting something, but when it started getting like really hot, I was like, I need to give her something to suppress it because it's already killing whatever is in there. But let me just give her this. Like,
have you ever done like the Tylenol Motrin?
Yes. Yeah. So after the 4th or 5th day, I was like, okay, we're going to go to the doctor because now Alina's getting sick. And I'm like, fuck. Okay. So we go to the doctor and she swabs them for COVID, swabs them for the flu. Zoe comes back with testing positive for the flu, but not COVID. And Alina was negative, but she's like, she's going to be next because she's showing these symptoms. I was like, great. So Alina starts getting a fever. Then she started, like, I know Alina is sick when she sleeps, and that's it. Like, she literally fell asleep on the couch, fell asleep on the floor. She felt like everywhere she could fall asleep, she was falling asleep. And I'm like, great, here we go again. I got an antibiotic, I got all these things, but she was like, it's viral. Like, there's really nothing that we can do.
But I don't know. It's weird. Is it? Do you feel like the healthcare is the same in Morocco as here? Like, if you have something, like, they'll give you something.
Yeah, they'll
because that's how it is in DR. Like in DR, when people were getting COVID, like they were giving them shit, and people were healing.
Yeah.
But here, they just want your body to run rampant and figure it out on your own.
Yeah, but then they'll come up with a freaking crazy ass vaccine, and you're like, let's not even go there. Like, stop it.
But like, because I've always found that weird. I'm like, but there's medication for viruses.
Go to the pharmacy, the little plus sign pharmacy, and they're just like, what are you feeling? Right. And you're like, I'm feeling, and they're like, you could take this for a couple of days, this for a couple of days. You're gonna feel like new. My mom, every time she goes to Morocco, she stocks up on that stuff. Even I know it's not really a fun topic, but suppositories for fevers and all of that stuff. I'm like, put this in your little butthole.
Yeah, I've seen the ones here, the fever all. I just have like a plethora of all these things.
I get the ones from Morocco, and let me tell you, I remember, we're going on a little tangent, but I had gone through a little phase where I drank way too much soda in Morocco. It was ridiculous, and my intestines almost exploded because I drank way too much soda.
Literally.
Yeah, it was literally. And I could not, like, it was so bad. I was hunched over. It was so bad. I go to the doctor. They give me a suppository, and then they gave me a bunch of other medication. Not only did I kick this whole thing, it was like I literally poisoned myself with gas. That's essentially what I did to myself. Like, my intestine was so close to exploding. It was so bad. I was like, great. But I lost like 70 pounds.
Oh my God.
And I was a chubby ass bitch back in that day. I was like, okay.
Well, with all that soda consumption, the sugar.
But it was like, I mean, you love your Mexican soda. It's like real fucking thing. Like the ones in Morocco, it's like real shit. Like, so I'm like, anyways. So Alina and Zoe are sick. They're getting their medication. They're getting on the mend or whatever. And they start feeling a little better, but they were home for almost 2 weeks. Like Zoe was with me for 1 whole week because I did not send her to the babysitter. It was actually a week and a half, and I didn't send her to the babysitter. Alina, I had to keep her home. Her asthma got exacerbated, so she had a cough attack that she literally coughed for 20 minutes.
Oh my God!
In the house. This is 20 minutes in the house.
I remember,
and it was like a like that, and I was like, nope. Took her ass to the hospital. Rushed into St. Joe's because it is the closest one. We rushed into the emergency room. I'm like, I need somebody to see me right now. I was like, my daughter's having a hard time breathing. I was like, I need you to get her oxygen levels. She may need high flow. I was like, I need an albuterol treatment. Like, I was just in, like, we're going in. The hospital was so fucking packed. It was so packed. And I was getting so worried. I was like, are we going to be able to be seen? But this amazing security guard was like, you have to take her. It was like, she's a little girl. She needs to go in. So we only waited like 20 minutes in the lobby. And then but she just kept coughing. So she was coughing for a good 2 hours. It was ridiculous. Jeez. Then they gave us like a specific albuterol treatment from the hospital that only in the hospital they can give you or whatever. So we did all of that. And she was fine after the second round. But then the doctor was like, we're going to do one more. That made her cough again. And I was like, I'm just going to take her home and we're going to figure it out. And the doctor was kind of talking to me I told her, I was like, she has a specific pump. I don't know the name, but I have the picture. And she goes, so the pump that has albuterol in it, I was like, it's not an albuterol pump. I was like, it's a pump. Like, it's for her breathing. It's the automatic one. You don't have to press it. She's like, I'm like, are you...
do you know what the heck you're talking about?
I go to her. So you're an ED doctor, but you're not a respiratory, you're not a respiratory doctor. I'm like, this is what we were given by her specialist. And she was like, yeah, it's an albuterol pump. And I'm like, it's not an albuterol pump. I know the difference. It's just like, do you understand? And I was like, I understand a nebulizer and I understand with the chamber. And then I understand it's regular pump. I'm like, ma'am, this is not my fucking first date. I know what you're talking about. Show her the picture, do all this stuff. She was also like I really wanted to like her because she's like repping all Free Palestine stuff. And I was like, yes, bitch, you're a But then I was like, you're a fucking mean. Like, you're mean. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, the hell? Like,
she's probably fed.
But she was kind of like staring at me like, you don't know. And I'm like, no. When it comes to breathing, we come to the ER. We don't go anywhere else. We come to the ER because that's breathing. Like, I don't want to fucking hear it. So now her specialist is going to give us a prescription for an oxygen tank. So we have that at home in the event that it ever needs. But I always check her. I have a whole thing for Alina. I check her oxygen levels. I have her oxygen levels, like all that stuff. Whatever. We keep her home. Stay home. I don't want you to go to school until you feel 100%. Then I get sick. I have a fever. I have the flu. And when I was at the hospital, the doctor was literally like, Mom, you're getting the flu. I'm like, what are you fucking talking? He's like, you already have it. He's like, I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, okay. So he swabs me. I test positive for flu B. And I'm like, oh, fucking fabulous. I feel like absolute trash. Fever, congestion, snot, coughing, could not stop coughing. Body chills. I felt like I had COVID. Like, I still can't smell or taste right now.
Well, you need to know what was that helped me.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
because that just comes from like just inflammation.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. Like, we have to become our own doctors. Because they can't explain shit. Oh, the reason why you can't smell is just because all the stuff here.
And I know it's
there's inflamed in there, and that's what prevents you from actually like breathing. I have to remember, but I'll send you like what helped me, because I remember I lost my sense of smell the first round of COVID. This was
I'm about to do a neti pot.
What's that?
Like with the saline solution, like up your nose to clear all of that.
Try that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try that. But
you remember, just whatever you can fight like inflammation. So like if you have your teas and stuff like that, green tea, obviously like ginger, turmeric, all that jazz. Yeah. Just drink that, and then also honey, like just raw honey. Even if you just do like a spoon of it with like a little bit of salt, just like helps. Because sometimes I feel like when you add the honey into like the hot, it kind of takes away its properties that help you heal. Like, it's just more for the taste. Gotcha. But when you do it raw like that, just
I love to try it all. That's like really like has good, powerful, whatever. So but wait,
We have
more.
become a medical podcast.
But wait, there's more. So every time I get sick, my back spasms out of control. Yes. So now I am literally in the worst pain. So my back is constantly like on fucking fire, and it shoots down to my knees. So my chiro was like, I can't really do anything for you. It may be a nerve thing. So I go for my MRI today to see what the hell's going on. But that it was a struggle bus. Like I couldn't even walk around my house. Like, and the thing is, like, I wanted to clean, I wanted to do a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, I can't do anything. Like trying to bend down.
That was like, just,
yeah. So I just sat down.
It would be there.
And Berto was like, you know something is wrong. He's like, you have not moved. I'm like, I haven't. I'm like, I physically cannot move. Like I'm in so much pain. Jeez. And in the middle of the night, still till now, like I'm like, and I just put the heating pad on my knees. It's like as if they're thawing. I'm like, this is what I got to do, but it is what it is. But I'm so blessed that my job is super understanding. First of all, everybody and their kids were all sick. So a lot of people didn't go into the office. And my boss was just kind of like, don't come in. And like my colleague was like, if you ever come in and you're sick, they get so pissed, especially it's a medical company. So they're like, what the fuck? Like, don't come in. They're like, don't come in, stay home, get better. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, true. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to sit there.
They're more understanding.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. And he's like, are you doing your work? And I'm like, yeah, everything's been done. And he's like, then why would you come in here? Like, just stay home, get better. And like, yeah, he's like, take care of your kids. And I'm like, okay.
I'm so glad that you found this opportunity because you definitely needed that.
Yeah. But
because then also tell you like calm the fuck down.
Yeah, like chill. Like if I was still at the other place, they would have been like, "Oh, you used all your time."
So
I'm like, good. When I go sneeze on your fucking like your keyboard. I'm like,
my germs, your
yeah, my germs, our germs. Like, but this is a perfect segue for us
because
we are talking about resilience.
Our resilience journeys. Yes. Well, a snippet of them.
Yes.
But girl,
what
can you say is your first like life experience that taught you about resilience or what it means to be resilient through an experience? Like, what can you say?
Okay. So I always go back to this because it was truly the one time that, okay, I grew up in a very, like my mom still thinks she's the boss of everybody. Like she literally thinks she's our manager. It's ridiculous. But yeah, she's a momager. But in our culture, you know, being Muslim, like it's, you know, the girls stay home until they're married and all of this nonsense or whatever, which I get. I'm like, I get it, whatever. But my mom is very like, she needs therapy. Like it's a lot. And I never wanted to be in the household with her because her stupid rules, they were always so dumb. Like they made no sense. Like you can't do this. Why can't I? Like, tell me more. Like what? It's the religion. Okay. Why?
Attorney Nora.
Yeah. Like I'm like, but I need like explain to me like why. And you know,
because I said so.
Yeah. And growing up, it was a lot of physical abuse, like hitting, like she just didn't know how to speak. Like it was a lot of I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Like I'm like, fuck you. Like no.
And like that, did it work?
It did not. So I decided that when I was done with college, I was going to pick up and leave and figure out how to take care of myself in a place that I've never been, in a new area, living alone for the first time. Yeah, I literally packed up my Mazda 3 with my clothes and a few things. And when I got there, I was literally a townhouse that I had rented. It was empty. There was no furniture. I just like transferred my job to the TD down there. It was paying shit. So I had to find a second job. And I did all of that, learning how to, I've never cooked in my life because, you know, I worked 3 jobs up here. Like, you know, my parents they always cooked or whatever. So I had to learn how to do the grocery shopping, pay my bills, do all of these things while being in a new place, which is scary in and of itself.
Right.
So
and at a young age.
Exactly. So like literally the day after college, I packed my shit and left.
That's great.
And drove down to Florida. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna make this work. And
what made you choose Florida?
So I was with a dusty ex at the time, and his family lives down there. So I had gone to visit, and then he was like, "Oh, I've always loved it around here." Blah, blah. And I was like, "You know what? Fuck it, let's go." I'm like, "Let's go see how it is." And one thing about me is like when I got there, like the first townhouse that I was in was just like a stepping stone, and then I found another apartment that was so nice. And right now it's the Square. If you're ever in Palm Beach, it's called the Square. I used to live there. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Miami and I'm going to find the nicest apartment. And that's going to be my apartment. And I found the apartment that's the perfect one for me. And I moved down there. And I'm like, I'm just going to fucking do what I want to do because I'm unstoppable. So I'm just going to do what I want to do. So I was learning more about myself, learning about cohabitating with someone. And the only reason why I say that I did this by myself was because he was, again, a dusty motherfucker that like brought in no money. He was like, I'm a bartender. I'm like, no, you're not.
He was not a team player.
No, he's never. And I was like, cool. So I'm gonna just do this shit myself. So I got Stella, my dog. And she was literally my ride or die. So she was my baby. We went through all of Florida. And then I remember bringing her back up here. Like, she was like, man, bitch, it's snowing. I'm like, I know. Where's fucking palm trees? I don't know. Maybe.
She's like, we're supposed to be a snowbird.
Yeah.
So what is this?
This is bullshit. But yeah, like I had to learn. I've always been grown up for my age because I had to grow up super early.
Well, too, because raising I feel like you had to mom your sisters.
Yeah. So, and it's so funny because Hannah yesterday when she posted for my birthday, she was like, thank you for being my mom. Oh, like, because she knows, that's my first kid. Hannah is my first child. So doing that. And then when I left, it was heartbreaking to leave my sisters, but I had to do it in a way to pave the way for them too.
Makes sense.
So being able to leave and like figuring out what the hell I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to get it done. And there were days that it was scary. There were days like I left all my friends here. I had no friends in Florida because if you've ever gone to Florida and lived there, they're all assholes. Like everybody down there is rude. Except for the ones that you meet that are from up here and they live down there. But if they are Floridians or if they've lived there for 10 plus years.
And I hear like the further south.
Yeah.
So, because like the more north
that you go in Florida, because there's more like
it feels like it feels like here.
Yeah.
Like,
but like Miamians do not like that you're there. They don't like it. And they are they're rude. It was hard. It was hard. But I got it done. And honestly, like I look back and I'm like, I did that. Like I learned to cook and I cook pretty good. And I decorated and like furnished and decorated an entire apartment. I changed my car. Like I did a lot of shit. And like I got another degree while I was down there because I was just like, I have to figure out what to do. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, okay, you're so lonely. I don't fucking care.
You didn't victimize.
No.
Yourself.
And I got to learn a lot about myself and like financially what I wanted, what I could afford, what I could do. I took myself out on dates all the time, which was super fun. I got to learn the city of Miami, but like not South Beach, like actually going in and seeing other things. Yeah. Like when my friends would come visit me from here, oh my God, your apartment's so amazing. I'm like, I know. I know it is. Isn't it so amazing? And like I would bike ride everywhere. Like that was such a pivotal moment for me and really taught me like I could do anything. Like if I could, and the thing is, I only moved back not because I couldn't make it work. That was not even remote. Like right. I was on the verge of buying in my apartment. Like, no, it's because Alberto and I started dating and he didn't want to leave here. So it just made more sense for me to come back because my family's up here too. It's not, right. It was like, I was literally by myself down there.
And when you came back, did you come back to your mom's or?
I did. And it was fucking terrible.
And then it was a reminder.
It was a reminder. And the thing is like, it was a reminder because there was like literally no privacy. And like, I went back into asking permission.
Damn.
And I'm like, I just went like, I didn't have to fucking ask anybody for shit. And now I have to ask you permission to go and like, go sleep at my boyfriend's house. Like, whatever. Or like my dad would call me at like 9:00. Where are you? I'm like, sir, I am 20, whatever years old. Like, it's none of your business where I am. Like, are you nuts? Like, what is happening?
Oh, parents.
Yeah. And like, So just it's a lot. But then once me and Berto got married, we got our house or whatever. Now I'm like, I mean, I don't ask permission. It's, I let my partner know,
No, yeah.
but it was just, it's wild. Like it was a wild ride. And I feel like I needed those 5 years being in Florida because I'm just like, it's crazy because when I talk about it, we're like, why would you move here? Aren't you from Florida? And I'm like, I'm not from Florida. Like I lived there for
you
5 years.
adapted.
I adapted really well. Like I did have some friends here and there, but it was like they were like surface friends. Like, we work together or whatever, or like a little acquaintance. But no, like that's my girl, that's my ride or die. Like, no, it's just like, okay.
Well, that's why you had to come back here to rekindle and obviously find Marty, meet Marty, and then meet me.
Yes. It's so crazy. Myra came down to visit me, and it was during a time where she wasn't working, and she stayed with me for like 2 months. It was so fun because I felt like we actually got to live together, which we never did.
Yeah.
And then she was taking Stella out. Like I would go to work, come back, and like we would make lunch and dinner and all these things together. And I was like, oh, it's just kind of like having a roommate.
That's
so here
cute.
you go. It was really fun. And then she did come to visit me for Thanksgiving once. She actually stayed with me, and I made her a whole feast.
I love it.
And I went to pick her up at the airport with a little sign. But yeah, so that resilient story really, like, because I went from being like super sheltered but mature to being like, okay, I have all this free time, which I could have totally rebelled. Like, I'm not living with my parents. I'm gonna fucking do whatever I want. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have gone buck wild crazy.
Right.
But instead, it was like having those disciplines instilled in me, and also knowing for myself, like, this is the life I want to live. I don't have anybody telling me how I can live my life. I'm gonna do it this route instead. And that's when I was just kind of like, I need to make sure I have enough money to do this. I'm not running up my credit card bills. I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to learn how to do all of these things. And it also helped, I guess. Like, my mom didn't talk to me for like 6 months when I left. She did not speak to me. And the thing is, not hearing her yapping away at my head, like, why you fucking leave? That helped me.
Because it was like creating some clarity.
Yeah, it did. Because I was just like, cool. Okay, I'm by myself. It is what it is. But I'm doing what I need to do. And I kind of learned also that people are ugly. So like my ex's family, they were fucking hideous, like inside and out. And I just, yeah.
I thought you were just going to say inside, but
no,
damn, okay.
Inside and out, like horrible, horrible people. And just very like conniving. And I learned how I would never want to be an in-law like that. Like when Ollie brings their significant other and Alina and Zoe, like I'm not going to be that nasty monster. Like I'm not doing that. It's, my child likes you for a reason. Clearly there's something about you that's good. And I did everything for these people. And like I would always go visit, bring pastries, do all this. I mean, you know how I am. You just know I am. And this lady was just such a bitch. Like she was just such a big fat bitch.
No, and it's just like you learn. I mean, I know you're still learning as well who to be that way towards. And what I always tell you, do it for your kids. Obviously, do it for yourself first. Yeah. Please.
Yes.
Please. Yeah. I'm gonna sound like a damn fucking broken record. Do it for your kids and your spouse. Yeah. And then after that, see what energy you have left. Obviously, I know you naturally do it with your parents and your sisters, but that is extra, is not necessary.
Yeah.
Your yourself is necessary, your children, your spouse, that's necessary. Everything else is extra. Yeah. And I'm here speaking and needing to listen to my own fucking advice.
I'm like,
don't be a hypocrite, girl.
So tell us one of your resilience.
I know.
We can go on forever for this.
I know. But we'll hit the baseline, and then maybe next season, if you guys enjoyed this, we'll share more how we become some Brazilian ass bitches.
Shit.
No. Because as always, life be lifing, but God
be got it.
No, I guess I like that you started from the very beginning, so I will follow route and do the same. And then when you mentioned you didn't speak to your mother for 6 months, I'll share a little story. We're not going into any crazy details, but when I was 17 years old, I was already a senior in college. Sorry, not college.
All right, girl, genius.
This ain't DR. Because DR, there'd be like some 17, 18-year-old because they go to college like a freaking 14. Anyways, so a senior in high school, I guess I'll start from there. I get this brochure in the mail. I mean, I probably came just to the household. New Jersey National Guard, like join, and these are the benefits. Da, 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 da. And my brother had already gone off to the Navy. But me being me and making my own decisions without consulting it or sharing it with anybody, again, that stubbornness, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do this shit. I called the freaking.
This looks great.
Yeah, right. I called the recruiter, let them know. He's like, all right, this is what you need to do. Boom, boom, boom. I do all that. And then I tell my parents.
Uh-huh.
And since I was a minor, they did have to sign for me to join. I was like, this is some bullshit. And I was like, and I was also like, when I'm determined, when I want something, I fucking persist. And I persisted so hard that I didn't want to wait. I was maybe like 9 months away from turning 18, but I wanted to join then. And I did that. I will never forget, like the recruiter sitting across the table from us, and my dad was working. So it was just my mom and I, the dining table, the recruiter. And my mom literally just looks at me and she's like, you know, you're joining at a time of war. Because this was back in 2005. And I was like, yeah, girl, I know what I'm doing. Like, don't tell them, like, what? I'm 17. I know what I'm fucking doing. And clearly she knew who her daughter was. And I was like, I can't fucking tell this bitch otherwise. Fine, go, bye.
Yeah.
So I signed up, but then I thought I was fucking hot shit because I was like, I'm joining the military. I had already gotten accepted to college. This was like December of my senior year. I don't know when it happened. It had to happen like around that December, January time frame. My mom gets pissed at me because of the guy that I was dating at the time, who was 4 years older than I. He had a car, he could buy me liquor. Like, I was just like, let's go. Again, I thought I was fucking hot shit. So my mom ends up saying, if you're gonna keep behaving this way, you need to get the fuck up out of my house. I was like, okay, bye. I freaking left. I left.
See you when I see you.
I left and I freaking went and I moved in with this dude. And he lived nowhere near my fucking high school. And I was like, I still got to finish. Like, I got 6 more months left. And I need to graduate. So I could go to boot camp. I was like, let's go. So did all of that. And I'm just there like, what the actual, like now, like looking back, again, this was 17 years ago. I was like, what the fuck were you doing, girl? But through that and being able to make decisions so early on for myself, like, no, this is what I want to do. I know obviously each choice that you make comes with its consequences, whether that's good or bad. Like, I knew that from the very beginning. Now, how to process those consequences, that story comes later. But I guess through my military experience, even like I remember being in boot camp, like that first week, I literally cried myself to sleep every single night because that's when reality sinks in. And I'm like, well, shit, I have to be here another fucking 10 weeks. And then after this, I still got like 14, 15 weeks of military school. Like, I was technically gone from home or from New Jersey for 7 months. Again, at the ripe age of fucking 18. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? And technically, I was like out of my parents' house for over a year. It was crazy. But through that experience, and so what I started doing, I literally cried my ass off every single night to sleep that first week. And then once we actually got situated in our actual like location and our like our bunk or whatever, then I knew I could like organize and settle in. And through that, then I was like, okay, like you sign up for this. Yeah. Nobody put a gun to your head. Yeah. Like, do your best. Just do your fucking best and we'll figure it out on the way. And I guess having that mentality at that, again, young age always helps me kind of like reflect back. Even everything I've been through since then has helped me be so resilient. So through going back to boot camp, I was like, all right, started just making friends and started becoming chatty. I was never this chatty, ladies and gentlemen, ever. I was shy as hell. That was one of my mom's biggest worries, like me going off. Yeah. And like, I'm roaming the world by myself, technically, because it's funny. Because when I came back home before leaving to boot camp, I came to say bye to my parents. I'm knocking on the door. And my mom literally opens the door. Doesn't even say hi. At least from my recollection, doesn't even felt like she said hi. She was like, let me guess, you're pregnant.
Oh my God.
Because obviously she knew I was off with,
Yeah.
in fucking La La Land. And I was like, no, ma'am, I came to say goodbye because I'm leaving for boot camp. Anything could happen or whatever. We are working with like live ammunition.
Yeah.
It's other young kids literally that you're giving guns to. I don't know if there could be a misfire because accidents happen. I get that. Not that people, it's a common thing to die at boot camp, but there has been stories. But yeah, that show was hilarious. And then fast forward, that's why I asked her. I was like, when you came back home, did you come back to your parents? So that happened to me exactly. I came back and literally like within a month it wasn't working. So I went back and I moved out and went back to the same person that I was with. But then like not even a couple months of being home, we got orders that we are going overseas to Iraq. And I was just like, oh shit, my mom did warn me about this at the dining table. And okay,
yeah,
we out. And by this point, I was 19 years old. And I remember sitting on the bed at my partner's place at the time. And I remember, I think he was like in the garage or something. I was like, I gotta go. And he's like, what the fuck? I was like, I gotta go. I'm going back home. Like I just decided to go back to my parents because I was like, everything was kind of settling, and this was maybe like a month or two before like I had to ship out. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going home. And I literally like spent time with my parents, even though I knew it was gonna be like riffraff with my mom. But I was like, whatever. Like I was like, what if I never get to see them again? Because again, you could be overseas, something could happen to you, but people never think that something could happen to them.
Yep.
Again, and I'm here like, oh my God, that's probably the last time I'm gonna get to really like see them. So I had like matured emotionally, temporarily, real quick, right there. And no, nothing. And I guess my biggest experience in the military that showed my resiliency was the harassment that I was receiving before we even stepped foot overseas. So we like how it works in the military. You like at least in the army, you have a year of deployment, but within that year, there's a couple months right before that. It could be a month, it could be 2, it could be 3 months. It just depends on your mission of training, and it's in the States. So you get trained in the States. So for instance, my training was down in Texas, so I was there for like 2.5 months. So I experienced harassment through there, and I remember going back to like our sleeping quarters, and my other female comrades were like, "Yo, like what you're going through is not right." And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I was able to actually process that and see it and then speak up about it. And I was shaking in my boots, literally, in freaking Texas, because I literally had to confront a man that was way older than I was, and then his superior was obviously older than all of us. But through me speaking up, and on top of that, like I also came like with a witness because again, learning all this stuff. And I guess even looking back, this is why I'm so passionate about HR.
Yeah.
And even before the military, I did experience another sexual harassment in the retail space, in the civilian retail space. So again, it's just like all these experiences that we go through, it's literally, as cliche as it sounds, it's for a fucking reason. And it's not for you to know why you're going through it right in that freaking moment. It's because God needs you to go through that. So when he hits you with the next level of hardship, you're going to be like, okay, like buckle up. We've been through something similar. How can I approach it? Right. I remember. And this is like the notes section here because again, if I fucking lose my memory ever, we have these videos to go back to, and hopefully this sparks a freaking memory. Let me not speak that into existence anyway.
Let's not do that.
What the fuck am I talking about? Morbid. Small violin. So yeah, it's just again going through that, and like what I have written down here is you have to bounce back from your experience, from those hardships, and not let that shit break you. And it could break you, but let that breaking happen like temporarily, please. We gotta like pick up the pieces and keep on moving, or fucking just leave those pieces right there and let the fucking garbage person take it out or whatever. And that's the thing about life. You're gonna go through it, and you're gonna be knocked down, over and over, but it is definitely your resilience, and that comes through your own life experiences. So hopefully, like us sharing, I guess, like the foundation of our resilience journey helps you reflect on your journey, on your life journey, everything that you've been through, and you've been through it. Don't disregard yourself. Don't discredit yourself. You've been through it, and that's who makes you who you are today.
Yeah.
When you're trying to figure out, like when you look yourself in the mirror, like who am I? Think of all those major life events, or sometimes it could be very minor, but such a big impact in your freaking life that you're gonna be like, oh shit, I did that. I went through that. I overcame. For instance, like me being in Iraq, I guess I never really processed that I was in a fucking war.
Yeah.
Because everybody back home, I remember even before I left, all the going away parties, I literally had so many of them because then our like ship out date kept getting pushed back. So it was like endless like barbecues at my parents. My friends had thrown me one, and I was just like in like again, just like in a bubble, I guess. And I guess it was possibly because of the age, again, because I didn't really have anything major before that happened in my life. Besides, I guess, like moving to New Jersey and starting anew, but still you're under like your parents' wing. So I guess like that, me uprooting myself and being like peace, and especially I guess maybe proving my mom wrong, because she also thought that me, again, a shy, quiet person, dainty as she saw me. I never considered myself dainty. Like, what the fuck is that? So she always just looked at me as like this delicate thing that can easily break. And I'm like, that may be true, but I'm resilient as fuck, bitch.
Yeah.
So me coming back home from Iraq, again, I was still kind of like,
yeah.
But it took me a while to, again, my adult brain, because again, I came back and I was, so I left like just at the end of my turning 19, and then I had turned 21 while we were in Texas, and then I came home still 20, and then like a week or two later I had turned 21. Your adult brain is not developed at all, and I had just been through all of that shit before, so that's why I learned to give myself grace in everything that I've done thereafter. And again, within the past 2 or 3 years, I've been able to look back and give myself grace for that. Because again, you can easily be like, oh, I should have never joined this and that. But no, I looked at yes, I've experienced hardships within there. Like, again, the harassment, having to speak up for myself, advocating for myself, riling up the other people that needed advocating, like, yo, you're being bullied, this and that. Like, that's not right. That's not okay. You don't need to live. You don't need to live like this. You want to be here. Why would you let somebody else tell you otherwise just because it's their freaking experience? You can make your experience completely different than what is even being at the same fucking job. I just lost my train of thought, but it's like you have to find the joy in it all when you're going through those experiences, and create your little resilience like toolbox. And that toolbox consists of, again, those experiences. And sometimes you gotta look back, you gotta pull them out, reflect, again, revisit what was the lesson learned there, because God is going to continue to throw the same lesson at you, just in a different form, with a different person and a different job.
It's to see like how you respond to it,
how long you've come.
But yeah, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
And again, we literally just touched the surface here.
Literally, it is just like a slither.
A slither.
Like
so
a little tiny.
We will definitely, most likely, bring this back up in season 5, because
I mean, if anything, we were toying around with doing like your full story,
right,
and my full story, and then posting both at once. So if you guys like that idea, we can post that too, because
we'll go on.
I think we need an hour each person. Like, we just need that.
Or like part 1, part 2, or Risa Tisa TikTok series.
What fucking life did I get into? Episode 1.
Who the fuck did I marry? That shit was too good. I haven't even followed up on her.
I just saw she just got a thing with Chime. She was doing a thing for them, and she literally goes, hi, it's Marisa Tisa. I did a thing called Who the Fuck Did I Marry on TikTok that went a little viral like that. And she's like, so I partnered up with Chime to talk about the red flags that I've seen in my relationship to avoid for you, so you don't have to do the same mistakes I did. Like, it's just so funny. And the thing is, she is still authentic about it. Like,
no, yeah, because it's who she is.
But she has like no lighting, nothing. It is like her phone, like not even placed like this. Like, girl, get yourself a little outside. No, she just has it like on her sink, and it's like this way, the most unflattering angle. But she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still getting it.
And what's Chime?
Chime is like an online bank.
Oh.
I only know this because one of my tenants, when she was paying me, like her rent literally went through like every bank on the face of the planet, and then she sends me this thing Chime, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Like, is this legit?
I was like, what is this? So it's like another online bank that doesn't have any branches, but they give you like a debit card, all that stuff. So that's another option for people who don't want to have a minimum balance.
Okay. And we're not sponsored, so
no. But Chime, you can chime in.
Because as always, this is sponsored by
the Migas by yourselves. So, but yeah, so whew,
I know
it's a very heavy topic, right? Resiliency and stuff like that. It truly is. But that's one thing that truly does make us all kind of like on an even playing field, because what your story is, and the thing is, like, you can't be like, oh, someone's struggling more, and whatever I'm going through is not as bad as theirs, so I don't deserve to think that I'm resilient. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like especially like right now, like there's a mindset like with everything that's going on in Palestine, like it's very, very, very hard for me to be like, oh, I'm having a really hard day with the kids, and then it's like, someone will come out and be like, oh, but at least you don't have to bury your kids, and like, those kind of things. And it's like, you don't diminish somebody else's,
right? Because that's toxic.
Yeah. I mean, but I've seen that, like, even like, for example, like people who've had like for example, for me, you would tell me like, oh, Caleb's giving me a hard time or whatever, and I'm like, well, at least he's talking, or like, at least you didn't have to go through this with autism. Like, I will never.
There's a word for it, so I forget what it is, but I mean, that's part of, like, I guess, kind of like that comparison.
Yes.
Comparison is the devil, people. Yes. So again, comparison is the devil.
I would never diminish or think like my struggle and my resilience is higher or lower than anybody else's, because we all experience it in a different way.
Right. No, and at the end of the day, we are all going through something, whether others are vocal about it, whether others are not. Mm-hmm. Some people just carry it well, or still able to show up. Because, for instance, if I would have never shared what I've been going through, you would have never fucking known.
Yeah.
Because I'm still showing up as just me. Yeah. Like, online, like, it's just me. Like, but again, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I wear my life on my freaking sleeve. And I truly believe in us that have been given that gift and been able to sit here and share our stories online to, like, public. Who knows, who's screen recording or whatever, who is being sent to, who's freaking lab is landing on. But I know, I was like, if I share this and it helps one freaking person, then that's why I just keep sharing. Because and again, I do get feedback, and I know there's a lot of people that are shy to give feedback back, but I know people are listening. Yeah. So don't be afraid of that. If maybe you've been considering sharing your journey publicly, this is your sign to do it, because somebody needs to hear it. Somebody, if you want to start a podcast,
do it.
Right. Somebody needs to hear
it. And you just never know who you're touched, because your people are there. Your community is there, and everybody, you could be a part of multiple communities. Right. And that's the beauty of life. Like, you tap into somebody else and you're looking and you're like, oh my God, like, I wonder what they're up to, or like, I wonder what's going on and all that, because I personally care. So the people that I follow, if I follow you and I haven't muted you, I care. I care a lot. And I love whenever you guys post. Like right now, I'm literally invested in Liz's countdown to Bad Bunny.
Yes,
like 7 days.
Yes.
7 days.
Her son is at the Bad Bunny. I think he's going, tomorrow or after.
I'm so excited.
I need to see all the, send me all the pictures.
I'm just so excited. I'm like, and then when she went to
North Carolina,
she was messaging me, sending me videos. Yes. She's like, I went to this.
Yes, from the Love Is Blind. She did her own Love Is Blind tour. I love it. I love it. But yeah, you just have to have the habit of courage, the courage to begin, the courage to endure.
Do you remember that show, Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Girl.
On Nickelodeon.
Girl. No. Maybe. You know me with
just
shows.
Like a scared dog.
I'm like, anytime people are like, do you know the show? Scary. I'm like, I know.
I don't watch TV as much as you do. I do. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. what up, Kevin? How are you, my boy?
What up, babe?
Thank you for tuning in,
Yes.
and we're almost done with the season.
I know. And remember, the night out in Havana,
August 3rd. Get
August
your
3rd
tickets
in Woodland Park,
Yep.
New Jersey. Is very easy to get to.
Mhm.
So we will see you guys there.
Yes, we will.
Don't forget, purchase your ticket.
Yep.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. All of your sharing and likes, it helps us. It helps the algorithm.
Yes, please.
Support small businesses. We are a small business.
Yep.
Love you guys.
Ciao.